Well, once again, everybody, welcome to the Expedia Cruises and Rocky Mountaineer presentation. I do see a number of people have joined us here. Again, my name is Andrew Fowler. I am one of the franchise partners with Expedia Cruises here in North Vancouver, lovely and beautiful North Vancouver, and the astonishing Lynn Valley region. Joining us all the way from Rocky Mountaineer, and if I look across the inlet, I could probably see you over there at the station. I have Lisa Ottoman joining us. Hi, Lisa.
Hello, Andrew.
Hello. And we have a colleague also joining us from Rocky Mountaineer. And now I'd have to stand on the top shelf here to see you, Wendy, but Wendy McMichael is also from Rocky Mountaineer. And look at your background.
Hello, Andrew. Yes, I've got the red rocks from down in Colorado showcased here. So you get to talk about all our different routes.
I can't wait for that, nor can our listeners and viewers here today. Let's get started with a little bit of housekeeping. Today's session is recorded, so if you are looking to share today's excitement with a friend or colleague, you will be getting a link to seeing this video and sharing with others who may be interested, because I got the chance to travel on the Rocky Mountaineer to Banff last summer, and it's definitely something you want to do with a group of people. It's fun, it's relaxing. So again, this is recorded. We will be going through a questions and answers process near the end of the presentation today, because we do have some resident experts, Lisa and Wendy, and we do have a number of consultants who have also joined us here today who have experienced this product as well. As you know, our name is Expedia Cruises, and it's synonymous with the powerhouse of selling cruises and having that general cruise knowledge, but we also are a full service travel agency. So we do the air, land, and sea components, and we're excited to continue for a couple of years now, actually probably a lot longer than I realized, that we've been offering Rocky Mountaineer right from the very beginning, which is again a success story in its own, and how Rocky Mountain came to being, and it continues to excel and expand its services through North America. So with that, if you know how to use Zoom, drop a question into the chat. I'll be monitoring that. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. Wonderful to be here. Thank you for the introduction. And thank you to all of you for joining us this afternoon. I'm really excited to take you on a virtual journey of the amazing scenery we have here in our own backyard in Western Canada and the Canadian Rockies, and not too far away in the American Southwest. So Rocky Mountaineer train journeys offer guests a firsthand look at incredible mountain views, chromatic deserts, rushing rivers, and wildlife in the comfort of our spacious, one-of-a-kind glass dome coaches. Our trains travel during daylight hours and at an average speed of 50 kilometers per hour, or what we like to call Kodak speed, so that you can soak it all in and take plenty of photos. These are the elements that create a memorable experience on board. So it's just as much about the journey as it is the destination. Our onboard hosts, or who I like to refer to as our super hosts, cater to our guests' every need and create a friendly, comfortable, and social atmosphere on board. They are entertainers, master storytellers, and genuinely love connecting with our guests and providing exceptional service. Throughout the journey, the onboard hosts are telling stories of the history of the rail line, the communities that we're traveling through, Indigenous peoples, the flora, the fauna, really connecting you to the regions and landscapes that we're traveling through. And our cuisine showcases regional flavors and locally sourced ingredients, and is accompanied by a selection of complimentary local wines and beers, along with premium spirits, which are served throughout the journey. As our trains travel during daylight hours only, you do not sleep on the train, but you enjoy a relaxing night's sleep at a hotel at the midpoint of the journey. And luggage handling to and from the train and the hotel, we take care of that for you. So it's a real seamless experience. We have 4 rail routes in North America. So yes, it's just so exciting to be able to share with you that we've expanded, and we no longer travel in Canada only. So last year, we launched our new route in the American Southwest, the Rockies to the Red Rocks, that travels between the states of Colorado and Utah. But I will begin discussing our Canadian routes first today. So we have 3 routes in Western Canada that connect Vancouver with the mountain towns of Jasper, Lake Louise, and Banff. The dark diamonds that you see on this map are where you either begin or end your journey, and the white diamonds are the midpoint of the journey where you stay overnight in hotels. Our journeys are taken one way, traveling either eastbound or westbound. And I will discuss each of these routes in more detail as we travel on them virtually, but before I do, I'll just provide a high-level overview of our 2 levels of service. So we have our gold leaf and our silver leaf service, and the difference between the two is best depicted by this slide. It's really the coaches themselves. So our gold leaf coach is a bi-level coach, and our silver leaf coach is a single level coach, and this lends itself to some differences in the meal and beverage service. The level of service in both gold leaf and silver leaf service is the same, as are the inclusions, which on our Canadian routes are breakfast and lunch, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages that are served throughout the day, as well as sweet and savory snacks, transfers to and from the train and hotel, luggage handling, and overnight accommodation at the midpoint of the journey. So it truly is all inclusive while on board the train. So let's start our journey on the first passage to the west route. So this route connects Vancouver to either Lake Louise or Banff with an overnight in Kamloops. You have the option of either beginning or ending your train journey in either Lake Louise or Banff. For simplicity, I'll be describing all of the routes today traveling eastbound, but again, keep in mind, you can take them westbound, starting in the Canadian Rockies and traveling through to Vancouver. So for today, we've chosen to travel in Gold Leaf service on the first passage to the west route. We'll board the Gold Leaf coach at 7:30 a.m. And as your luggage does not travel with you, be sure to bring a day pack with you on the train with any necessities that you may need, such as medications, sunglasses, perhaps an extra sweater or jacket, depending on the time of the year, if you'll be spending some time on the outdoor viewing platform. So let's get to know our Gold Leaf coach. Our Gold Leaf rail cars feature our all-glass dome windows in the seating area on the upper level, where guests spend the majority of their time and enjoy their meals in the lower level dining area. Exclusive to each Gold Leaf coach is an outdoor viewing platform. We start our breakfast service shortly after the train departs, so please make your way down the stairs to the elegant dining room where an onboard host will attend to you. For those that may require mobility support, each Gold Leaf coach has an elevator, and all of our train coaches have a hydraulic lift for those that may need assistance boarding. Select your choice of entree from the menu. There are 7 entrees to choose from for breakfast, and meals are prepared fresh by the culinary team in the galley kitchen. The menu changes from year to year, but just to provide you with an idea of some entrees that we've served in the past, those have included spinach and egg souffle, sunrise skillet, or buttermilk pancakes, just to name a few. And of course, complimentary beverages are served with your 2-course breakfast. As the seating capacity of our dining room is half that of the upper seating level, we divide our guests into 2 groups. So group number 1 will go first to the dining room, but as they are being served in the dining room, we are serving our guests in the upper level at pastry and beverages. And then on the second day of the journey, we'll reverse the order of the group. So if you were in the second meal seating on the first day, you'll now be in the first meal seating on the second day. And as the sights of the city, leave us behind, we travel through the green fields of the Fraser Valley, and we pass by many of the farms where we source the produce that is served on board. And just here's a picture of the Gold Leaf coach, just to give you an idea of how nice and large the windows are for viewing. This is when I was on the train just this in the summer of July last year, not this year, my goodness. And as we travel further into the interior of British Columbia, we'll be following the Fraser River, winding through forests and crossing over bridges surrounded by the peaks of the Cascade and Coast Mountains. We'll also enjoy views of Hell's Gate, and the train will slow down for any points of interest along the way. As the day continues, the tracks lead us into arid desert-like canyons, and we enjoy fantastic stories of the region as the train travels along. As we approach Kamloops, the onboard host will hand you your keys to your hotel room. We've arrived at the midpoint of our journey, Kamloops, a very welcoming riverside town. We're scheduled to arrive at approximately 6 p.m. But when I say scheduled to arrive, I just do want to share that, yes, that is hopefully, the time we're arriving at, but, we do share the railway tracks with CP and CN, so there can be some unforeseen delays that do occur. But however, our Kamloops, our Kamloops team that manage all the operations of the train, they have fabulous relationships with CP and CN. So if something does happen, they're going to make sure that the freight trains move ahead to the side so that we can continue on our way and keep on time. So a motor coach will take you to your hotel in Kamloops from the train, and you're already checked into your hotel room and your luggage has already been delivered to your room. Your luggage actually travels on a truck ahead of the train so that when you arrive at the midpoint of your hotel, your luggage is waiting for you in your room. Enjoy your evening in Kamloops and take a stroll in one of the serene parks or enjoy one of the terrific gastropubs and get a good night's rest. Rise and shine, your Gold Leaf coach is waiting for you at the hotel the motor coach is waiting for you at the hotel to transport you to the train coach for another luxurious day of train travel. Simply leave your luggage in your hotel room. We will collect it and transport it ahead to your next destination. Boarding time is early, it's at 6:30 a.m., but hey, we're excited for another day of train travel. As we continue our journey to the Canadian Rockies, the desert-like landscapes continue. As we continue traveling east, the scenery changes and we see the greenery of the mountains. We pass over the last spike at Craigellachie that completed the rail line and connected British Columbia with Eastern Canada more than 130 years ago. We are the only passenger train to travel along this historic Canadian Pacific rail line. Today's highlights include the climb over Rogers Pass, the Kicking Horse Canyon, and traveling through the spiral tunnels, an incredible feat of railway engineering. And of course, we'll enjoy views of the stunning glaciers and snow-capped peaks of the Canadian Rockies. First Passage to the West is our original route. It's also our most popular route and the most historic. Spend some time on the outdoor viewing platform and feel the wind rushing through your hair, hear the sounds of the train, and breathe in that fresh mountain air and take some amazing photos outdoors. The outdoor viewing platform holds up to 10 people. So here's just a picture I took from my trip on the First Passage to the West. This was in October of 2019, and I love spending time on the outdoor viewing platform. It just gives you a very different perspective of the scenery. And here's another picture as well. I mean, you just, feel like you're immersed right in it. And it's a great time too to strike up conversations with fellow travelers. Let's head back inside, upstairs to our seat. And isn't this the perfect setting to enjoy 180-degree panoramic views as you're sipping on a glass of Okanagan wine or that perfect cup of tea? Enjoy the comfort of our reclining heated seats with lumbar support and leg rest. So we've passed the town of Field, continuing our ascent, and we are literally going to pass through two mountains, Mount Ogden and Cathedral Mountain, as the train travels through the spiral tunnels, crossing over the Continental Divide. And here's a picture of my trip of July last year, as we were approaching the spiral tunnels. Every time I travel through them, I am just absolutely amazed. And hopefully you can see from this picture that you just feel like you're immersed right in the mountains. You're part of it. We have arrived at the train station at Lake Louise, and we will bid farewell to those fellow travelers who've chosen the incredibly stunning Lake Louise as their destination. For the remainder of us on board, we'll travel another 56 kilometers to Banff, enjoying the incredible vistas of Castle Mountain. And we're scheduled to arrive in Banff at around 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, where our journey ends. And welcome to Banff, a lively town with easy access to endless outdoor activities, mineral hot springs, and wildlife. For our second rail journey, we're going to travel to the incredibly picturesque town of Jasper on the 2-day Journey Through the Clouds route. This route connects Vancouver to Jasper with an overnight in Kamloops. So traveling eastbound, given, the first day is the same as First Passage to the West, making our way to Kamloops, we'll pick up this route from the second day of the journey, traveling north and east to Jasper on the Canadian National Railway. We board the train at 7:45 a.m. and are scheduled to arrive in Jasper at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. On this route, we've chosen to travel in Silverleaf service. So our Silverleaf rail cars feature our oversized glass dome windows where meals are plated in the galley kitchen and served seatside by a culinary team member. And if you would like to get some fresh air, you can step into the outdoor vestibule, which is a more small enclosed space, but the window is open throughout the journey. It comfortably holds up to 4 people. Enjoy the high ceilings and airy, spacious feel of our Silverleaf coach and soak in that passing scenery with our large, oversized dome windows that bring the outdoors in. All our dome coaches have been designed for optimal viewing. Enjoy breathtaking mountain peaks and glacial-fed lakes. Journey through the clouds takes you through some of the most untouched natural beauty. I hear a bit of a grumbling. Is that a bear? No, it's your stomach letting you know that it's lunchtime. Don't miss a moment of that passing scenery as your 3-course lunch will be served to you by a culinary team member at your seat. Simply lower your table tray for your culinary delight. And just as the same as in Gold Leaf, you'll have a menu to choose your entrees from. And as well, we serve our meals on china, silverware, and white linens. And it's a pared down menu in Silverleaf, meaning you just don't have many options to choose from as you do in Gold Leaf. So in Silverleaf, you have 2 options to choose from for your entree for both breakfast and lunch. One thing you never depart from our train feeling is hungry. So between, breakfast, a 2-course meal, lunch, a 3-course meal, and your glass that need not ever go empty throughout the day, as you are served your choice of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages and sweet and savory snacks between meals. Once you arrive at your destination, when you're on your own for dinner, you might feel like something light only, like an appetizer. For myself, I'm so full that all I have is a beverage. And feel the spray of Pyramid Creek Falls as it drops over the falls and flows right under the railway tracks. The falls drop 90 meters and cascade 3 tiers and fan out into a pyramid shape before hitting the bedrock below. The only other way to get this close to the falls is to hike in. As we travel throughout the day, mountainous views do not disappoint as we climb over the Yellowhead Pass into Jasper National Park. Enjoy the magnificent Mount Robson, the highest peak in the Canadian Rockies that stands at 3,954 meters and is pictured here in the background. And here it is up a little closer. We wind around it for a good hour, and it's so tall that it has its own weather system at the top. So it can be a beautiful, clear blue sky day, but the top is often crowned in alpine clouds. Get your camera ready as we travel by Moose Lake, aptly named for the many moose in this region, approximately 100,000. In addition to moose, some other wildlife you may catch glimpses of are bald eagles, bighorn sheep, and everyone's favorite bears. And if a coach up ahead sees a bear, it will be radioed to the staff on the other coaches. So you may hear your onboard host announce, "Bear spotted on the left up ahead." And the excitement on the train coach is going to be palpable as everybody makes their way to the left-hand side of the coach in anticipation of seeing a bear. We arrive into Jasper, a beautiful little mountain town that is a true gem of the Canadian Rockies. And now for the road less traveled, welcome to our 3-day Rainforest to Gold Rush. This is a very remote train passage and very diverse in geography and climate. So on the first day of the journey, we board the train in North Vancouver, and it's a spectacular day and a short 3.5-hour journey to Whistler. We pass from the Pacific shore of the Coast Mountains, hugging the coastline with spectacular ocean, fjord, and mountain vistas. We follow Howe Sound into the rugged canyon of the Cheakamus River. We pass through tunnels and travel over bridges, over gorges to the resort of Whistler. And we're scheduled to arrive between sort of 11:30 a.m. and noon. And welcome to Whistler, where you have the rest of the afternoon and evening to enjoy outdoor activities and fantastic restaurants, galleries, and shops. And to note, if you are traveling westbound on this route, So you'll be scheduled to arrive into Whistler sort of around 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. on day 2 of your journey, making your way from Quesnel to Whistler. So that does leave you a little bit of time to enjoy the resort in the evening. And then the next day you have the morning and early afternoon to enjoy Whistler, as boarding time is shortly after 3 p.m. Good morning and welcome back aboard. Boarding time is shortly after 7 a.m. and we'll travel 500 kilometers from Whistler to Quesnel. We pass from coniferous forests and beautiful blue-green glacier lakes into one of the hotter, drier places in the country at Lillooet. We follow the Fraser River along its impressive canyon as we climb high along its eastern wall. We traverse the region's rolling lake-dotted hills and ranching communities, experiencing some of the most contrasting landscapes in Western Canada. We cross the Deep Creek Bridge, one of the highest railway bridges in the world, and we follow the gold rush history, which is fascinating. And we rejoin the Fraser River near Williams Lake, and it takes us northward to our destination of Quesnel. And arrival time is scheduled for 8 to 9 p.m. Quesnel was originally a mining town and has a very small population of about 20,000. Enjoy a good night's rest in Quesnel. And welcome back aboard for the third day of our journey. We'll travel 534 kilometers, swinging north past Prince George before turning south and traveling southeast to our destination of Jasper. We follow the Fraser River, meandering through a remote region of British Columbia. And as the train travels through the Rocky Mountain Trench, we are surrounded by the Rocky Mountains to the north and the Cariboo Mountains to the south. And on this route, too, we will enjoy the incredible views of Mount Robson before our arrival in peaceful, charming Jasper, where our three-day rainforest to gold rush ends. And we're scheduled to arrive in Jasper at around 8:30 p.m. And if you would like a return journey on the train, we have our circle journeys, which are formed by combining 2 routes. So I know that map is a little hard to see there, but for example, you could travel from Vancouver to Jasper on the Rainforest to Gold Rush, and then you could return from Jasper to Vancouver on the Journey Through the Clouds route. So we have 7 circle journey packages to choose from, and they all begin and end in Vancouver and range in length from 7 to 13 days. So depending on the package, you'll have either 4 or 5 days of beautiful train travel, and the longer packages include time and sightseeing in the Canadian Rockies. So this is a great option for those who maybe, aren't comfortable flying or you're looking for more time on the train. And we partner with the best hotels available in each of our destinations. So we pre-select moderate level hotels with the Silverleaf service. So these are your 3, 3.5, 4-star hotels that are, comfortable, moderate hotels. And then we pre-select premium 5-star hotels with Gold Leaf service. You can also choose Gold Leaf Plus for an upgrade to a bit of a larger room or a room with a better view. However, you can choose the level of hotel that you would like based on your preference. And this can also be a good way to stretch your budget. Perhaps you prefer the Silverleaf rail car because it really is just all about preferences, but you're celebrating a special occasion and you'd like to stay at the Fairmont Banff Springs. Or alternatively, perhaps you prefer the Gold Leaf rail car and staying in a 5-star hotel isn't important to you. You can select the moderate level hotels. So these are some of the hotels that we partner with. So we have the Fairmont Chateau Lake Louise, and we do partner with Fairmont in all of our destinations. And then we have Brewster's Mountain Lodge in Banff, the Chateau Jasper, and then the Sheraton Vancouver Wall Center. And these last 3 are all examples of our moderate level hotels. And the fun and memory making continues once you're off the train and in your destination. So we have over 35 vacation packages to choose from, depending on the amount of sightseeing or a little bit of sightseeing that you would like to do in destination. We partner with hotels and tour operators to extend your time and destination once you're off the train. So some of these tours may include, for example, a tour of Yoho National Park or a motor coach sightseeing tour between Jasper and Lake Louise and Banff that includes a ride on the Ice Explorer on the Athabasca Glacier and the Columbia Icefield Skywalk. Our season in Canada this year is from April 25th to October the 6th. And we don't operate in the winter months. It's not that we're afraid of the snow, but the days are just too short. As we know, darkness falls early and you'd miss some of the spectacular scenery. So I'm sure you may wonder, what is the best season to travel in? When's the best time to travel? And really, all three seasons are a wonderful time to travel. They each offer something a little different. So in the spring, the mountains are still covered in snow, making them really pop, as pictured here on the left. The flora and fauna are beginning to emerge, and not that we can guarantee it, but it's often a great time to see wildlife, especially bears, as they come out of hibernation and make their way to the tracks in search of food. But if you're planning on any, water activities in the Rockies, just remember that the lakes will still be frozen at this time of the year. And as the international tourists haven't arrived yet, it makes for just a more relaxing time in the Canadian Rockies. And then on the right, it's summertime, everything, is lush and full bloom. As we know, the days are nice and long, making it great for doing activities in the evening. The weather is predictable. However, this is the busiest time in the Canadian Rockies. The international tourists have arrived, so you just need to pack your patience too, as the lineups can be longer to get into, restaurants. And then on the bottom right, we have the fall. So we have the beautiful yellows and golds of the larches. The salmon run occurs in the fall, attracting eagles and bears. And then sometimes, that beginning of October, fall can look a little bit like spring too, depending on how much snow Alberta has received. And now on to our new route in the American Southwest, the Rockies to the Red Rocks. So we launched this route last year, which I think was a huge accomplishment. And I was very fortunate to travel on it mid-September last year. And it was amazing. The scenery is just as spectacular as the Canadian Rockies, but it is so unique and such different scenery than what we have here in Canada. So Rockies to the Red Rocks is a 2-day journey, as depicted by the solid red line, traveling between Denver, Colorado, and Moab, Utah, with an overnight in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. Again, just as in Canada, journeys can be taken traveling either eastbound or westbound. And then the dark diamonds that you see on this map are where you can either begin or end your destination. So we do have packages where you can either begin or end your destination in either Salt Lake City or Las Vegas. And transfers between these two destinations and Moab are either by motor coach or a flight scene transfer, which I will expand upon later. So when I went, for myself from Vancouver, it was just under a 3-hour flight from here to Denver. I then flew from Denver to Canyonlands Airport at Moab. That flight is just a tiny little bit over an hour. And depending on the time of year, there are there's daily flights, and there are either one departure or 2 departures in each direction daily, depending on the time of the year. I then spent some time in Moab and then took the Rockies to the Red Rocks, traveling eastbound from Moab through to Denver. So our gold leaf rail cars are a few inches too tall to fit through some of the tunnels on the Rockies to the Red Rocks route. So our silver leaf rail cars are the only ones that are offered on this route. So here's a photo of the Silverleaf coach that I took on my journey in mid-September. Just again, want you to see how nice and spacious they are, and just, with the way the windows wrap around to the top of the ceiling, how fantastic the viewing is. And here's just another photo as well. This was just me sitting in the seat, taking a picture across the way. So again, really great viewing in our Silverleaf coaches. And then here's a picture of the outdoor vestibule, just to give you an idea of it. And it's all inclusive while on board, and it's the same level of service just as on our Canadian routes. So again, that's your meals, your beverages, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, snacks, baggage handling, accommodation at the midpoint of your journey, and transfers as well. And of course, that amazing level of service and storytelling provided by our onboard hosts. For an upgraded experience, you can choose Silverleaf Plus, And this provides you access to a lounge car that has portrait windows. It has nice, big, comfortable armchairs to relax in. And at the other end of this coach is a couple of high top tables, as well as a bar. And then we have a bartender serving up some signature cocktails, and we serve premium wines in spirits and canapes in the lounge car. And there's also outdoor viewing vestibule on the Silverleaf Lounge car as well. So our season this year in the US is from April the 18th to October the 26th. And now let's just spend a little bit of time on the destinations and the train journey. So Moab, Utah is known for its red rock formations and as the gateway to the mighty 5 national parks. So that's Arches, Canyonlands, Bryce Canyon, Capitol Reef, and Zion National Parks. So I toured Arches and Canyonlands National Parks when I was there, and they are incredible. So pictured above are the naturally forming arches that you get to see at Arches National Park, and then contrast that to Canyonlands below, where you're standing thousands of feet above the ground, overlooking canyons as far as the eye can see. The town of Moab is a small town. It has a population of 5,500 and a quaint downtown with local shops and restaurants. So Moab is really all about being outdoors and exploring the national and state parks. And there is a wide array of activities to do in Moab that range from soft adventures such as off-road vehicle tours, boat tours on the Colorado River, and guided walking tours, to more adventurous activities like mountain biking, horseback riding, and river rafting. So here are some pictures that I took when I was touring Arches National Park. The top picture is the first section of the park that the motor coach entered. And oh my gosh, I was just in such awe of the scenery, these huge vistas, these massive red rock formations. I really felt like I was on another planet. And then we traveled to some other areas of the national park and were able to hike up to the naturally forming arches. Hopefully you can see some of those little people, how tiny they look there. But I mean, I have to say, I was in such awe when I stepped off that motor coach, and saw this view up above. And then the more time I spent in the park, just in more in awe I was of it. It's just really, really incredible. And then here's me. This is at Canyonlands National Park. And yeah, I cannot wait to get back there. And because I learned about some hikes that I definitely need to go back and do. So let's talk now about our fabulous train journey. So traveling eastbound, the train departs at 2 p.m. So that does leave you the morning to enjoy Moab, and then dinner and snacks and your non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages are served on board. And the Rockies to the Red Rocks route, the train days are not as long as our Canadian routes. So the leg between Moab and Glenwood Springs is sort of 5 to 6 hours. And then the leg between Glenwood Springs and Denver is 8 to 9 hours. So if you're traveling westbound, the train departs Glenwood Springs at 7 a.m. and is scheduled to arrive into Moab at around noon, leaving the rest of the afternoon and evening to enjoy Moab. But let's just talk about some of the highlights traveling eastbound on that first day from Moab to Glenwood Springs. So you get to enjoy beautiful vistas of the Book Cliffs that are pictured here above. The Book Cliffs are the longest continuous escarpment in the world. And then we also enjoy the views of the snow-capped peaks of the La Salle Mountains below here, which serve as a backdrop to the red rocks. Mount Garfield, I took this picture from the train. This is the largest and highest mountain peak of the Book Cliffs. And then as we cross into Colorado, we're nice and remote. We're winding through Ruby Canyon, which is 40 kilometers long, traveling along the Colorado River. And other than rafting, the only other way to access this canyon is by train. And we're scheduled to arrive in Glenwood Springs at around 7 p.m. And Glenwood Springs is a really picturesque resort town nestled in the heart of Colorado's Rocky Mountains. We overnight here, And there's great shops, restaurants, and bars, all within an easy walking distance. And the town is known for its hot springs, which are open until 10 p.m. So there is time to visit them because remember, you have been fed your dinner on the train. And then we partner with the Hotel Colorado, a grand old hotel built in 1893 with lots of history, as well as the Hotel Denver in Glenwood Springs. Day 2, we depart Glenwood Springs at 9 a.m. and we're immersed in the landscape, traveling through 4 canyons this day along the Colorado River. So we have Glenwood Canyon, Burns Canyon, Gore Canyon, and Byers Canyon. In areas, we're looking up at 300-meter high canyon walls. And unless you're an expert kayaker or whitewater rafter, the only other way to travel through Gore Canyon is by train. So I really enjoyed, how remote we were, where there's, no roads, no buildings, in sight, nothing but incredible scenery. And I thoroughly enjoyed the variety of scenery and colors experienced on this day. So the picture above I took from the train. So yeah, shades of red and gray, and then the greens and the yellows of the forest. The aspens at higher elevations had already turned yellow by mid-September. And then as we continue east, we climb an elevation and then have sweeping countryside views of rivers and lakes. And the photo above I took from the train. And like our Canadian routes, we'll enjoy some incredible feats of railway engineering as we cross under the Continental Divide and we travel through the 10-kilometer long Moffat Tunnel and the Big Ten curve as we near Denver, named for the tight 10-degree radius curves. We arrive in Denver at around 5 p.m. and Denver is a bustling city of culture and diversity. Like more large cities, there's plenty to explore, from museums, aquariums, and zoos to botanical gardens, restaurants, and shopping. Known as the Mile High City due to its high altitude, it's also known for its craft breweries. It has 100 craft breweries and is nicknamed the Napa Valley of beer. And then we've partnered with Sage Hospitality Group for Denver accommodation, which offers 5 boutique-like hotels to stay in. We have six packages on the Rockies to the Red Rocks route, and I will just highlight 2 of these packages. So we have our Explorer packages. So the Explorer Salt Lake City package is a 6-day package between Salt Lake City and Denver and has, your 2 nights in Moab, your overnight in Glenwood Springs, and 1 night in Denver. So guests can choose from either a motor coach or a flight scene transfer with Red Tail Air between Salt Lake City and Moab. And it truly is a flight scene transfer with the pilot providing commentary throughout the flight. And the planes are smaller, they're Kodiak planes, they seat 9 guests. And then the Explorer Las Vegas is a 7-day package between Las Vegas and Denver with 2 nights in Las Vegas and 2 nights in Moab, your overnight in Glenwood Springs, 1 night in Denver, and transfer between Las Vegas and Moab is by flight scene transfer only. And the flight scene transfer is about 2.5 hours, and the one between Salt Lake City and Moab is about an hour and an hour and a half. And then we have our At Leisure Las Vegas package, which provides 2 nights in Las Vegas, 1 night in Bryce Canyon, 2 nights in Moab, and 2 nights in Denver. So this includes a guided sightseeing motor coach tour between Las Vegas and Moab with an overnight at Bryce Canyon, which includes a Western dinner and entertainment at Ebenezer's Bar and Grill. Guests enjoy a guided sightseeing tour of Zion, Bryce Canyon, and Capitol Reef National Parks, and traveling on the scenic Highway 12. And in Las Vegas, we partnered with MGM Resorts, where you have a choice to stay at either the Park MGM Las Vegas or the exclusive Nomad Hotel at the Park MGM. And then in Salt Lake City, we partnered with Little America Hotel and Grand America Hotel. So let's now chat about our current promotions that we have. So as of December 1st and for a limited time, all new 2022 bookings come with our enhanced flexibility. So you can cancel for any reason up to 60 days prior to your travel date and receive a travel credit to use up to and including the 2023 season. There is also an option to change names once up to 60 days before travel, but please remember that one name from the original booking must remain. And any promotions that you have carry forward to your new booking. So we have a fantastic promotion running for, it runs for all of this month of February. It is our spring fall promotion. So this is applicable to all routes and all levels of service, specifically for travel in the spring and fall. And this is with our packages, or if you're booking rail only. So if you're looking to stay close to home here in Canada, or you want to venture outside of Canada, but not too far away, we have savings for you. So receive 1,000 Canadian off per couple or 500 Canadian off per person for travel this year in April, May, and October on our Canadian routes. And then if you're traveling on our Rockies to the Red Rocks route, the savings will apply to travel in April, May, September, and October. So this promotion expires February the 28th, and this promotion won't be extended. This is our richest offer that we will have for the remainder of the season, so you won't get any better pricing than this. And we are filling up for our 2022 season, so the sooner you book, the better for availability. I mean, I can share with you some routes in Canada, like our Rainforest Gold Rush. The month of September is pretty much full already. And August is really filling up quickly too. And then if you've traveled with us in the past and you'd like to, explore a new route in the US or one of our other Canadian routes, you'll get additional savings. We have our Travel Again promotion that runs until October the 27th. All you need to do is just provide us with a previous booking number. This promotion is combinable with the spring and fall promotion. And this allows you savings of 500 Canadian per couple or $250 Canadian off per person for any of our packages. So it does exclude rail only, but for any of our packages on any of our routes and either level of service. And we are committed to delivering our world-class service while ensuring your health and safety is our highest priority. So we follow the guidelines of the government health authorities where we operate, which are in place at time of travel. So we do know in Canada that all passengers are required to be fully vaccinated to board our trains, and all of our staff in Canada and the US are fully vaccinated. In the US, there is no requirement for passengers to be vaccinated. And we operated safely last year. We're super excited about the start of our season this year, which is for the Canadian routes, only 74 days away. And for our Rockies to the Red Rocks, that is 66 days away. We will provide details of our health and safety protocols when we're closer to our operating season, as from what they are today will change. But yeah, we know in Canada, vaccination, that won't change. In the US, who knows, maybe. But of course, we're going to continue with our enhanced cleaning procedures that we implemented last year, which included before the train departs and throughout and at the end of the day. And as well, our air filtration system circulates fresh air every 3.5 minutes, and the bipolar ionizers in the air duct system eliminates 99.9% of airborne particles such as virus and bacteria. And Rocky Mountaineer has been a trusted travel experience for more than 30 years, and we've welcomed more than 2.2 million guests from around the world. And we've received more than 70 national and international travel awards, some which are listed here. And I'll just add to this list as well that we were named Best Sustainable Train Journey by Lonely Planet's Best in Travel Awards in 2021. And thank you so much for joining me today. I hope I've been able to paint a picture of what it's like to travel on board with us. And
wow.
Expedia, thank you. Thank you.
Wow, Lisa. that couple things, well presented, well-oiled machine, like your hardware on the presentation. Thank you for that. and what if you can go back to the previous slide,
yes.
no pun intended, but
yes.
the little company that could establish itself here. I mean, yeah, you're a Vancouver-based company, right?
Yep, Vancouver-based, headquartered here, privately owned Canadian company.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that we had you here today to share these beautiful pictures, a couple of bucket list destinations out there. There's some great opportunities here. Now, you did talk about the promotions and whatnot.
Yes.
And if anybody listening here today or watching this a little later on, do reach out to us. We have all the details about the promotions and the destinations, time of year of that nature. And Lisa wasn't joking. These are not sales that they don't hold over. It's not another brick sale that they hold over for 2 more weeks. This is a product that's in demand, that's well planned out and sells quickly. So if you're thinking about it this summer or this fall, even the spring, like we're 2.5 months away.
Yeah.
Now's the time to lock in something of that nature. Before we continue on, I know we have a few more minutes left in here. There was a question that came up because I love food, what's on the menu, and I did enjoy all the cuisine that's on board. One of the questions was, what about allergies or halal vegetarian meals? How do you accommodate those types of things on board?
Right. So we can accommodate, any allergies, any, I say, dietary requirements or restrictions, except for those faith-based ones. For example, halal or kosher, we can't. And
okay.
Wendy, I don't know if you want to chime in there, if you have anything else to add,
but
I would just say,
let's
bring Wendy in. And let's, and also, the further ahead of time you let us know, the better. So, at time of booking is great. If not, at least 2 weeks, because if we do, we can only fit so much food on the train. It's not like we can just, pop out and run to the local store and pick up what we need.
Shall we share one of our stories? We were in. Yes. So Lisa invited a few of us to travel on the train to experience this product, and we had that chance last summer. And like you say, Canadians love their bacon, and I guess the train ran a little low on the bacon. So as we went through one of the, I guess they radioed to a couple times. We're not joking, through a team. We radioed to the next town, and people went out and got bacon. People, obviously members of the organization stuff. And the train slowed down as it went through the crossing, and boom, they toss on a few of packages of pork, and we move on to the next things. But in all joking aside here, I mean, it was a fun moment to see and do and whatnot. I mean, there's other things that happen out there, but it's good that Rocky Mountaineer showcases and shares local cuisine.
Yes.
Like you're not pulling in tilapia, right? It is BC salmon. It is Alberta beef.
Local, fresh produce. What's in season. Exactly.
What's in season. So very well done. So you get to experience those types of things. And I mean, I tried everything. I went from page 1 to page 2 on the menu. So including the dessert menu. Anyway, let's move on a little bit more things, because you have some more great, exciting things. I'd love to hear a little bit about, what's the experience like on board? I've just lost my screen here. Pardon me. Let's bring Wendy into this.
Yes, as the senior manager onboard operations, who has been with us for 12 years, and she was instrumental in launching Rockies to the Red Rocks last year.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I have to echo Andrew, your presentation is great. A lot of the common questions I get, which is the best season? What is my favorite route? You covered it all. It is fantastic being on board. I think Andrew and Lisa will echo me on this, where we really like to create a very social environment. You'll notice from some of Lisa's pictures, people were standing up, but because they will have travelers from all over the world, and they'll be engaging with one another, wanting to hear about their histories and what brought them on board with us. So it's a very social environment. We always want to kind of draw the outside in. So we're telling you about the histories, the environment, the locations that we're traveling through. They're really stunning and gorgeous. And Lisa said, I've been doing this for 12 years, all on the train. And I still get as excited as the guests when we get a bear call and we all run over to the window to look, or we're going past Mount Robson or spiral tunnels, and everyone wants to capture that moment because it's just so stunning. So we do everything that we can to highlight all those features for our guests, make sure they have a wonderful meal. Lisa's correct. We will do what we can for dietaries, the faith-based ones with our suppliers. We want to make sure that we always have the highest and best products. So that's why we don't have those available on board. But it is quite an experience, and there's a lot to take in when you're traveling through the day.
Right. Now, when you're on board, let's talk a little bit about the experience. There's lots to see and do. There's if I remember correctly, there was a guide with, I forget what it was called, mile marker, mile post?
Milepost.
Milepost. Can you tell us a little bit about milepost and how it interacts with the trip and the guest experiences?
Is that me, Lisa?
Sure, let's let you.
Yeah, we put people on the spot.
There. Yeah, no, that's a I can, yeah.
Yes,
The mile markers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we do
basically,
have,
what it is, like, okay, so for the rest of the listeners here, basically you have a newsletter and it talks about the different things that you're coming up to seeing and the history behind it. So yes, we go across rivers and canyons and come into towns, but there's history. So you learn about what's going on, and then you can ask your onboard guest host, like in your car, more information, and they will know all about this, because one of the things that makes Rocky Mountaineer special is people, the tenureship is so long, they know the towns, they know what's going on in the destination. So if you've got questions, they go and find them. If they don't know, they go back to Google and they find out the answers for you, right? So hats off to the host on all the cars, right? And it's a unit that works together in that area.
you're giving away our secrets. Google what?
Yes.
Google's our friend, but you know how to get the information. Storytelling is also great on these things, but again, going back to the seats, you can charge your devices. They're comfy. In your Gold Leaf, there are beautiful leather seats that are heated. So if you're in those fall days and you get on that train first, it's nice to have that turn on. It's like your heated car seats. So you are traveling quite nice, and they turn around. I forget what you call it, but they rotate around so you can face each other. So when you're traveling as a group, you're not craning your neck looking over the sides of it there. Well, Wendy, did you have anything more to share with us about our US trails, US route, sorry?
Our Rockies to the Red Rocks, it's a stunning route. It is quite different from our Canadian routes, which really gives some diversity to our portfolio. When you're in the elevations, which we get up over 9,000 feet in the US, where we only get up above 5,000 feet in Canada, the extra elevation in the US changes the peaks and the vistas within the mountains. You get a very, very rugged desert landscape when you're going into Moab. So that is a huge diversity from the 2 days that you're traveling. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful landscape. The canyons that Lisa pointed out, there's 6 that you travel through the 2 days. And we don't have anything that replicates that up in Canada. So yeah, all of our routes have their own unique aspect to it. And it is a stunning, stunning scenery to go through in the US on that new route.
I can't wait to see it. I've driven it, and like I wrote in my comments, when you've driven a route, yeah, you've seen things, but when you get to sit there and have a drink and have a meal and all that type of stuff, it's totally different. The views are completely different.
There's a point when you're going from Denver, if you're heading west, we go through what is called the Tunnel District. And it used to be 31 tunnels. A couple of them have been daylighted, as they call it within railroad terminology. So now there's only 28 of them, and it's going through all of those tunnels. You can't see them from the road. It's a really unique and amazing experience.
Well, I get to relive my childhood of the Wild West.
That's
looking
right.
looking for the cowboys and the horses coming up behind us. Yeah. Awesome. Well, if there are any questions from our listeners here today, do drop them into the chat. Again, this is a bucket list. When you go down to the Red Rocks, I mean, they are a bucket list destination. Not seeing too many questions from people pop in, but we'll give it one more try. We got a couple of comments in there. Thank you Susie. Yes, it is beautiful. It's even better when you're in person. If you we'll send out an email later thanking you for joining us with more details about the promotion and all those good details, but do join us on that email, because we do have some video of what's it like to travel in Gold Leaf from Kamloops to Banff, as well as we have a segment in our podcast where you can hear and see, or you can't really see, but you can hear and vision what you can be seeing through our podcast. Lisa and Wendy, thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon. And to our listeners and viewers, thank you very much for joining us, and have yourself a wonderful afternoon.